In this video, I'm going to reveal the 10 things that men do that make a woman's oyster dry. And I think you know exactly what I'm talking about. Oh, yeah. So listen, if you've ever been on a date or a few dates and she's just not affectionate with you, right? And you're wondering, does she like me? Does she not like me? Well, it's possible you're doing one or more of these 10 things that I'm going to go over that is making her oyster dry. And believe me, if women are into you, that oyster is going to be wet like you not believe. All right, before we get started, my name is Kane. I'm the Silver Bachelor. This channel is 100% dedicated to dating advice for older guys. And if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button and a notification button because I'm dropping a video every day. All right, the 10 things men do that make her oyster dry. And I'm not sure about YouTube's policies or whatever, if I could say this word, but you know exactly what I'm talking about, okay? So this is kind of just one interesting thing in creating this YouTube channel is I'm kind of getting to learn what words I should or shouldn't use, and it's still a little, and YouTube changes their policies every year. So I'm just going to say oyster. You know exactly what I'm talking about, okay? So box, oyster, whatever. So let's just get into it. The 10 things. Number one, so many of you guys have long fingernails. Like, what the fuck is up with that, bro? Use a fingernail clipper for your fingernails and your toenails, and your fingernails need to kind of be my length. I'm going to put it right in the camera right here. See my length right there? None of this long shit going on. It's gross. I don't know a single woman that finds that attractive, and all women, all look at man's hands. Do you know why they look at man's hands? Exactly. You know exactly why the answer, why they're looking at man's hands, because they're imagining that guy touching her in all kinds of places. And if your hands aren't nice, she's not going to want you touching her. Okay, so clip those fingernails. Number two, you don't shut up, bro. I know you're trying to impress her, and it's the first date, second date, or whatever. But a lot of you guys can't shut your damn mouth. Just shut up. Like, ask her an open-ended question. Let her talk. The more she talks, the more that oyster is going to get wet. But that oyster is going to dry up if you don't give her any stage time. Okay? And I remember one woman telling me, because we're just sharing dating stories, and she said she was on this date with this guy one time. 45 fucking minutes. 45 minutes. He was going on and on and on, talking about this, saying this, blah, 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 blah. He wouldn't shut up. Like, bro, there's a reason why we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, right? Just remember that. The mouth is a third of the time that you should be talking. As a rule of thumb, you need to just listen, listen, ask questions. Listen, listen, listen. Okay? So that's number two. Number three, talking about listening, you don't listen to the details. Look, if she tells you what her dietary preference is, as an example, and you're about to go on a date, and she's told you she's vegetarian, or she's told you she's vegan, or she's told you she doesn't eat beef, you fucking idiot. And then now you book a date at a steakhouse. That's one of the fastest way her oyster is going to get dry, when you just don't pay attention to the details. She's told you. So on one of my videos, I talked about why it's important to make notes on all of your dates. Not on the date. Make notes about your date, okay? Put it in your phone, like your notepad, and go, and let's say her name is Katie. Okay, Katie. Katie, her birthday is this. She has 2 dogs. She's vegetarian. She loves sushi. Oh, she hates steak. She likes her steak medium well. Like, make fucking notes. Because I'm telling you, women are ruthless when it comes to, if you forget a detail, like, fuck, it's so, man, I still make this mistake. One little thing, and all of a sudden, that oyster is dry. Okay? So, for example, if you forget her actual birth date, but she's told you once randomly in some conversation, and you don't write that down, her specific birth date, like January 12th, And a few months go by or a few dates go in and you say, oh, when was your birthday again? You have no idea how many times, bro, that she's like, well, I told you before, right? That's not a shit test, by the way. You need to own that shit because she told you the specific date and you didn't write it, you didn't put it down or you forgot. So that's not a shit test and that's not disrespectful. That's like, you know what? You're right. Oops. That's what I say. I'll say, oh, shit. Oops. Okay. Won't forget it this time. So details, remember that because if you screw that up, her oyster is going to get dry. That's number 3. So number 4 is, this is an obvious one, but some of you guys stink in a bad way. You have body odor either down there and or up here, like your armpits, just your overall body odor. I this has happened a few times where I remember a couple girls I was dating were sharing dating stories, right? And I've asked them, have you ever, had an experience where you're about to get intimate and the guy has a odor down there? And every single time the woman has, in those situations, the woman has said yes. There have been times where the guy has had an odor and I've said, what happened? And she said, it's off. I cut it off. And I've usually say, I'm sorry, but your hygiene is not good. So you guys need to work on your fucking hygiene, man. Take care of that. Wear cologne. Take care of your armpits. I use armpit wipes typically instead of like a deodorant because they basically, not fully, but like it closes some of my pores, which I don't know. I have to research whether that's healthy or not. So that's number 4 is unpleasant body odor. And shit, man, that's one of the definitely ways that she will clam up, to say that. Okay. So number 5, you're not taking the lead. And what I mean by that as an example is you're not planning the date. You're going to go out. Don't ask her, so what do you want to do? What day are you available? What time? Did you want to go here? No, man. You take the lead. You say to her, hey, I'd like to take you out. How about Friday? I pick you up at 7 or we meet at 7 at this place. Boom. Now, before that, like back to what I talked about in terms of details, if you're going to go out for food, I always ask them before I even book a place if they have any dietary restrictions, okay, or preferences. So that's number 5 is just take the lead and say, hey, I'd like to take you here, this time, this day, this place. Boom. Or if she says, oh, what do you want to do? Boom, you have a plan. Let's do this. Let's go to Top Golf. Maybe she's not into golf, but at least you said something. Or she says, oh, what do you want to have for dinner? Let's order a pizza. I don't really feel like pizza. Okay, just keep coming up with your answers. So that's number 5. Otherwise, that oyster's gonna get dry. Number 6, this one, man. I know you guys, when you're on a first date or second date and you might really be attracted to her and you want to touch her, but sometimes you can be too touchy, okay? I have heard women say that after a date when, like, I live in this building and there's 150 residents in this building, so I get to know people, and some of the people are single, especially women, and sometimes they share their dating stories with me, and one of them said, oh yeah, I'd say, oh, how did that date go last Friday? And she'd say, well, I'm not sure if I'm into him because he was too touchy. Being too touchy is definitely one way to shut down that oyster getting wet. So be aware of that. I personally, for at least 1 or 2 dates, I purposely, and this is hard, I don't touch them. I sit very close to them to give them an opportunity to touch me first before I start reciprocating. So that's one way you can avoid being too touchy, is just sit close to them. If it is a dinner, cocktails, whatever, I sit at the bar. So I'm like right beside them on a stool. So they have an opportunity. If they're into me, they will typically touch me first on the shoulder. Okay, I'm going to pretend I'm a woman here. You're so funny. And she'll touch me on the shoulder. Okay, it's not a great impression. And now you guys might be thinking I'm gay. I'm not gay. I'm not bi. Anyways, dude, side note, I get that a lot. And just because I look good and I speak eloquently, I get that a lot. Are you bi? Are you gay? Shut up. So that's number 6. Number 7 is you're cheap motherfucker. Okay. Women hate like talking about their oyster going dry when the bill comes and you go, oh, do you want to go 50-50? Or you don't want to go to this place because you say words like, oh, that's expensive. Oh, that's too expensive. Just don't say that stuff. Just Plan the date at a place where you know that the prices are more reasonable. And don't even say, oh, the prices are more reasonable at this place. Don't say any of that stuff. Go if you want to go for dinner and drinks, I suggest go for happy hour somewhere, which is usually 4 to 6, and they have a specific menu that's discounted. Like glass of wine, this is American dollars. Glass of wine would be like $8. A small little meal will be $8. Things like that. If you want to actually save money, or go out for brunch, right? But just avoid saying words like, "Oh, that's expensive," or "Oh, can we go somewhere that's a little cheaper?" Right? So women definitely will get dry if they think you're cheap. Number 8, oh my God, so many of you guys have a messy apartment or a messy car. Do you see this background here? It's pretty damn clean, isn't it? That's how I live. I live in a pristine, clean apartment. And by the way, no, I don't hire a maid. I clean it myself. I take pride in cleaning my own shit. And some of you guys might say, well, you're obviously not busy enough to like, no, 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 no. It's about I clean my own shit, right? I wipe my own ass. It's the same thing. I wipe my own ass. I clean my apartment. I clean my car. I take pride in it. And I make sure that, especially if somebody's coming over, if they're going to be jumping into my car or they're in my place, it is immaculate. So that's one thing that gets them all fired up and gets them wet when they're like, wow, if this guy can take care of, this is the thing, if this guy can take care of himself, then he can take care of me. So that's number 8. Last 2 things are kind of obvious, but number 9, you have bad teeth. I did a video about my top beauty products, say it like that, but one of them is to take care of your teeth and whiten your teeth. You don't have to go and actually get them whitened, but you can use whitening toothpaste, whitening mouthwash, white strips. There's almost no excuse for having whiter teeth because I drink wine and I drink coffee. So you can probably see in this video that I have pretty white teeth, not like glistening white, and I'm not going to do veneers, but that's one thing because they're looking at your teeth and they're thinking, do I see myself kissing that guy? All right. So number 10 is you're too needy. And that is one way that she's going to clam up, is that you're always sending good morning texts. You're always saying good evening texts. Just, it's like ping pong, right? You say the odd good morning text and then don't for a few days. See if she starts saying good morning. But then you go back and forth, good morning, let her say good morning. Same thing with good evening, good night. For example, so I just started seeing someone, we've gone on, I don't know, 6 dates or whatever so far. And that's exactly what I do. It's back and forth. Sometimes I go to sleep, boom, I don't even say goodnight. And then the next morning, then I might say good morning if I was the one to not respond before, and say, and back and forth, and it's working out great. And that's what I suggest for you. So hope you like these 10 things. Let me know in the comments if there's additional ones, or if you want me to do a part 2 of this video of those additional ones. So until you see me again, have a great day.